Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died. When
was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man. Like, remember that?
Yeah, like, would Big Mike kill you for that?
Well, I think she died because she had 1,000 plastic surgeries. But
yeah, she was going under.
Yeah.
She just sees these big black arms coming over her face. Big Mike.
Bro.
Oh, no.
Even if they run Michelle. According to a new poll, Michelle Obama isn't as strong a Democratic candidate against former President Donald Trump as many Dems would have you believe. In a hypothetical matchup, my favorite kind. Trump wins with 47% of the vote compared to Michelle Obama's 44%. I guess some of the kids whose school lunches she ruined are finally old enough to vote.
Polished speeches, staged photo ops, and carefully packaged activism all crumble when Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld go on the offensive. They tear through the glossy facade, exposing how every noble cause doubles as a PR stunt. With razor-sharp wit, they strip away the charm to reveal the marketing machine running beneath. And this takedown is only just beginning.
Talking about her and Trump running together.
Yeah, I know.
And now she's speaking to the DNC that he's a threat to democracy.
It's going to end it.
And she's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as fuck. Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like, you are worth so much money.
I'm kidding me.
That's so crazy. And you did it on a civil servant's salary, which is insane.
Oh, they all do.
Have to use our voices to make these choices clear to the men that we love. Our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
Before we dive deeper, don't forget to hit subscribe and tap the bell icon for updates. Michelle Obama has spent years branding herself as the nation's motivational poster child, but Rogan and Gutfeld ripped the poster down. The show it's held together with political duct tape and sponsorships. She's turned the role of First Lady into a never-ending influencer campaign, mixing political catchphrases with lifestyle hacks no one asked for. One moment is voting rights. The next it's kale chips framed as a moral crusade. It's the kind of career pivot that would make Hollywood envious and late-night infomercial hosts wonder why they didn't think of it first.
Rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men. Terrible that you would applaud that.
That's it. This is the one.
Or the first woman
We already
president.
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny how she said it.
Okay, we all...
Gutfeld strikes with surgical precision, calling out the hypocrisy he can spot from miles away. He highlights how Michelle managed to convince half the country that planting a vegetable garden on the White House lawn somehow meant saving the world. In reality, it was less a farming revolution and more of an Instagram backdrop before Instagram even existed. Even the tomatoes got better publicity than most politicians. The garden wasn't feeding America, it was feeding her brand. Every spinach leaf came garnished with moral superiority.
As fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it. When she cleans it. Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To the women listening, we have every right to demand that the men in our lives do better.
Rogan circles the issue like a hunter stalking prey, questioning why someone with a platform bigger than most nations uses it to deliver lectures that sound like they were generated by an AI trained on TED Talks and corporate HR seminars. The tone is always the same, a polished, I know better than you, wrapped in the smile of a book club president ready to scold you for not recycling. He breaks down her speeches as a bizarre mix of self-help fluff and political theater. 30 minutes of words without a single concrete point. Yet she still exits the stage to thunderous applause. That's not inspiration. That's brand engineering.
Google Big Mike. Who is Big Mike?
Tell me.
No, it's Google it. Just Google it. 'Cause maybe
Oh,
we
Mike
don't-
Obama?
Let's
Is
not
that
get
it?
this.
Is it Mike Obama?
Let's not get this wrong.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Let's not get this wrong.
The whole thing's wrong.
Let's just Google who is Big Mike and see what the results
See what the
are.
internet says.
I will not run for president.
Yeah, I've heard you say I think Michelle should run.
She could win. She could win, I think. I think if she ran, she could win.
Do you ever run for office?
No.
I have to ask him.
No.
No kind of office.
No.
I don't think she wants that, though.
No,
I don't think
I
she
guess-
wants that in her life. The bull that they dealt with over the 8 years when he was president.
Because I've got these two young people at home. Being the kids, the daughters of a president, just think about it. Not so easy.
That job for anybody that really good at it.
Yeah, I trust the person who doesn't want the job more than
Yeah.
the person who wants the job.
It's not something that I'm interested in or would ever do.
Gutfeld doesn't miss the chance to spotlight the endless rebranding. Michelle Obama is no longer just Michelle Obama. She's an empire of podcasts, Netflix contracts, book tours, and motivational merchandise. Public service has been refashioned into a side hustle factory. Every initiative leads not just to civic engagement, but to another product, subscription, or speaking tour. The message isn't simply get involved. It's get involved, and don't forget the limited edition tote bag at checkout.
Ever win again as long as they keep hating men. Our video of the day is a 2-for-1 man haters special. First up, Michelle trashes dudes while urging women to act more like them.
We're always hedging, because in the back of our minds, we weren't raised with the certainty of maleness that, kind of the confidence that young men in their 30s have, which they haven't earned. They just have it. We don't start feeling that and owning that until our 50s and 60s at a time when we start to be treated as invisible in society.
Rogan pushes harder, pointing out the absurdity of preaching humility while charging speaking fees high enough to pay off an entire neighborhood's mortgages. The contradiction is so sharp, it could cut through a campaign banner. Michelle frames herself as the voice of everyday people while living a life so detached from them. She may as well be orbiting in her own private satellite. It's like being lectured on portion control by the owner of a bakery chain. Gutfeld drills into her polished image, noting how she has perfected the art of being political without being accountable. Relatable to who exactly? The average person doesn't land multi-million-dollar publishing deals, launch production companies, or wield indirect global influence through their spouse. Her realness feels as authentic as reality TV. Stage moments, perfect lighting, and scripted words.
See everybody having a good time. The country's almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. Yeah, right? Yeah, there's a lot of people that I don't fuck with anymore. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons and...
Rogan likens Michelle's image to a wildlife documentary, where it looks like the cameraman is in mortal danger, but in reality, the lion is in a zoo being served catered steaks. Gutfeld doubles down, pointing out how she blurs a line between activism and self-promotion. Her speeches about the country's future come wrapped with the same vibe as a luxury wellness retreat. Let's fight for democracy and more Find Your Best Self than by my audiobook. It's branding genius, but also a blueprint for monetizing politics. Rogan digs into her Netflix empire, questioning whether it's really about telling important stories or just creating another platform to amplify her own narrative. The result feels less like documentary work and more like one long campaign ad.
Accusation. They're throwing around the word treason.
I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016.
They're saying that Obama knew that Russia did not meddle in the election, did not have any impact in the election.
We must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the...
Gutfeld zeroes in on her image as a unifier, arguing that her version of unity is built on vague platitudes that never risk honesty. She's mastered the art of saying things that sound profound but are so general they could apply to anything. It's a strategy that inspires in the moment but evaporates under scrutiny, and conveniently makes her immune to bad takes because she never takes real risks. Rogan tears into the myth that she's separate from the political machine. Despite her claims of being done with politics, she remains one of its most effective operatives. The pitch is always the same. You're strong and capable, but also desperately in need of her wisdom. Empowerment sold as a subscription service, with Michelle as the eternal life coach. You're not just encouraged to be better. You're encouraged to be better while buying the merch.
She says women are invisible. Which women are she talking about? All I see are women in commercials, in TV shows. They're all over the place, and they're all yelling at everybody, telling them, I'm a woman.
She's got some serious issues. She needs to go to therapy.
Yes.
And maybe stop doing radio just altogether, because we don't want to hear her speak. But she talks about, how young men were confident, which makes sense because she seemed like a pretty confident person growing up.
Yeah.
Rogan can't resist calling out the cult-like worship around her. The applause she gets for safe, obvious statements is absurd. Like cheering someone for saying water is wet. Supporters treat these banalities as revolutionary, which says more about the audience's hunger for leadership than her brilliance. Gutfeld closes this round by dismantling the myth that Michelle is above criticism. The protective bubble around her is so thick that any pushback gets treated like heresy. Rogan ties it back to her post-White House career, noting how seamlessly she shifted from First Lady to global brand ambassador. Most former First Ladies fade into the background. Michelle instead rebranded her retirement as a full-blown upgrade, milking for every dollar and ounce of influence. At this point, the brand overshadows a person, and that's exactly the way she wants it.
Should have backed up the money truck to Michelle Obama and said, listen, you are going to run because people like you. They like you. It doesn't matter, about any of the conspiracies. Maybe you are Big Mike. Who cares?
What?
But you are going to run this goddamn country.
I can't believe you went there.
You're going to run this goddamn country.
That is the wackiest conspiracy.
It's a wacky conspiracy. Can I make one point for the people that are on the side of it?
Yes.
It is weird, but I don't think she's Big Mike.
Gutfeld delivers a brutal closer. Michelle's real skill isn't leadership, it's marketing. She's convinced millions that buy her books, streaming her shows, or attending her speeches is a civic duty. Influence has been turned into a luxury product, resold to the very people she claims to champion. And as long as the applause keeps rolling in, the machine keeps churning, pushing out more curated speeches, glossy appearances, and safe but camera-ready inspiration. The roast lingers on the metaphor. Michelle Obama's image is like a designer handbag, expensive, carefully maintained, and meant to be admired, not examined. The seams hold, as long as no one tugs at them. But Rogan and Gutfeld are tugging hard, and they show no signs of stopping. Because in the world Michelle has built, there's always an eager audience waiting for the next polished chapter, the next branded product, the next wave of inspiration. And she's mastered the art of convincing them it's all for their benefit, when really, it's just another masterclass in self-promotion.
Gay, needing attention over a old letter. What? I should read that again. Anyway, no, we'll just keep going. The New York Post obtained a redacted portion of a handwritten letter the former president sent to his then-college girlfriend, Alex McNear. Alex, eh? Back in 1982. He talked about his, quote, androgynous mind and wrote, and I'm quoting Obama here, I make love to men daily, but in the...
Gutfeld tears into the never-ending parade of stage appearances. Nothing feels spontaneous. Every moment seems storyboarded by a marketing team with a stylist on speed dial. Even her so-called candid shots look suspiciously like they were lit for a magazine cover. It's authenticity wrapped in professional lighting and brand sponsorships. Rogan jabs at her obsession with legacy, pointing out that every project feels less about tangible results and more about cementing her name in the history books, preferably ones published by her own media company. Lofty goals, catchy slogans, slick rollouts. But once the cameras are gone, the follow-through evaporates. It's like building a sandcastle for a photo op, then letting the tide do the cleanup.
I mean, he's a little late to the party.
Exactly.
I mean, we should be grateful that he finally showed up, but if he had gotten in early on this, before wokeism took over, we would still have Roseanne. We might still have Cops. Pee Wee Herman would still have a morning show. But no, we had to wait until everybody got canceled. I know, but it's hard to be Obama because if he says, the moment he expresses this stuff, they're going to crap all over him for sounding like us, right? But he used the right word, which was buzzkill. You have to look at wokeism and cancel culture as an attack on fun. We talk about this show and my show and maybe Jesse's, I don't know. But we flipped the script, right? It was always the right that were humorless and staid, and it was the left that was animal.
Gutfeld drives home the final point. Michelle's greatest talent is making herself the star of every story. Whether it's charity, culture, or sports, she somehow ends up center stage as the voice of reason and inspiration. That's no accident. It's a strategy to ensure she never fades from relevance. Rogan wraps it up by mocking the cycle of endless reinvention. No matter what happens in politics or culture, Michelle finds a way to repackage herself as a solution. It's a perpetual branding machine, powered by public adoration, and feeding on the need for more of it. And she's nowhere near finished. That's what makes the rose cut deeper, because this isn't the end of Michelle Obama's brand. It's just another chapter in an endless campaign for influence.